Hello, YouTube and friends. I'm at the Colorado River Historical Society Museum, and this is one room of several. Looks like 3 rooms plus an entry area. Beautiful museum. It's located very close to downtown Bullhead City, Arizona. And it has a lot of history of the earlier sites that were in this area of Mohave County. Mohave County is in northwestern corner of the state of Arizona, USA, and several of the towns are very well represented as best as they can be because the very oldest ones are so historical and so very old that when people started putting all this stuff together, not a lot was left. Now, I'm going to do a minute here on the town of Hardyville. And if you recall, if you're a regular viewer on this channel, Hardyville was the site of the original, or as close as they know, boat crossing on the Colorado River. And anything that I say in this video, please do correct me because I'm just one person and I just read various things. And so Hardyville was a river crossing. It predated most of the settlements here. And there's not really much left of it. There's a cemetery, and that's the video that I did not long ago. And because of that video, I'm going to show you one particular thing here. When we went to the cemetery, it discussed the gravestones or the grave markers because the grave markers were missing. And it said that what I recall of what it said was that the grave markers were so old and weathered from wind and aging that many of them had disappeared or perhaps were even taken away or stolen, which to me is pretty creepy. Here are the 2 remaining ones that are in this museum. And the lady here staffing the museum explained to me these are made out of cottonwood. And cottonwood, as we know, in the Southwest is a river tree. Cottonwoods only grow where there's water because water is so scarce. And so this was the prized wood of the early people. That and also mesquite, which we refer to, where the town that I'm near to refers to as cat's claw, and I think another name for it is acacia, is called acacia. So that's a smaller type of branch. You can see how big these boards are. Okay, and I'm just going to read this quickly. Hardyville Cemetery. Okay. There are stories of coffins spilled out onto the highway after heavy rains, Vicky Saylor said. No bodies were ever exposed or any coffins spilled out onto the highway. One coffin's edge had begun to stick out of the cliff, and an archaeological dig was done. 2 graves were dug up and put further back from the edge. Arizona Department of Transportation cemented the side of the hill, to keep any more bodies from escaping. So if you recall the video that I did on the Hardyville Cemetery, it is basically on the edge of a steep hill, and they were able to preserve that. A lot of the hills along the river here have been excavated, dug away, flattened to make housing space. Some of them are pretty much exactly as they always have been. The highway is right next to the cemetery. So this is a piece of poetry that's put on this grave marker just above it. And then this is, the gentleman's name is, let's see, sorry. The gentleman's name is G.E. Matthews. This is his grave marker. And then this is a little profile of another gentleman named A.H. Perkins. And it says A.H. Perkins, who conducted a small store at Old Hardyville, was found lying unconscious on the floor of the store in December by a Mojave Indian. The Indian immediately reported this to Fort Mohave. Professor McCoyne and Farmer Alliston at once drove up to Hardyville, but the old gentleman only lived a short time after their arrival. His death was due to heart disease, from which cause he had been a great sufferer for many years. The deceased was about 60 years of age, and for the many years had resided in Needles. Needles is a small town still existing in California. Professor McCoyne saw that the remains had a decent burial. The deceased left several children in Los Angeles and Santa Monica. Okay, so I'm not going to make a long video. I'm just going to show things related to Hardyville, really. Here's an old plaque, a beautiful, very heavy, I'm sure, metal plaque. And then this is this is in front of the Safeway, and if you remember from the video, I show the Safeway. It's down below the hill, right next to the highway now. Okay, this Hardyville site marker is in its original location, right in front of the Safeway, as the picture shows. After a couple of relocations and the deconstruction of the natural rock cairn, we don't know why they did that, it now has a permanent home in the Colorado River Historical Society Museum. Okay, so now there's so many other wonderful things here. Here's a profile of Hardyville, Arizona, and the gentleman up in the corner, it says he is William Harrison Hardy. Okay, so this gives you a little history of Hardyville. And then I'll just do this real quickly to show you some of the other things they have here. This is related to the Fort Mohave Indian Boarding School. They have some beautiful old adobe bricks, which would have been wonderful to use along a river because you've got a lot of water and a lot of mud. Here's some old artifacts of buttons, bullets, types of bullets. A picture of Fort Mohave, which was the original military outpost here in this area. Some of the soldiers. A story about a wagon train. And this, everybody's interested in this area of Arizona. If you ever go down there by Quartzsite, Arizona, you hear the story about a gentleman named Haji Ali. Haji Ali was a Greek Syrian, according to the little poster here, this little thing right here. He was brought to this part of the world to establish experiments with camel transportation. They said that camels can go a lot further without water. They're much bigger. They can carry more. So you can see from this little picture, little reproduction type picture, they would bring goods to the ship that ran the ferry on the Colorado River, bring goods via um, camel. That experiment, it says, was discontinued due to the fact that the camels frightened the horses and the mules. So, all right, that's all that I'm going to show of this museum right now. Boy, it's just full of wonderful things. I definitely recommend, if you're in the area of what is now Bullhead City, Arizona, don't miss the museum. Have a wonderful day.